Good evening, all. Welcome to the May 14th, 2025 Disability Advisory Board meeting. We will start.
My cane objects.
Just making sure we're awake. First item, we're going to do roll call, and I'm Lisa Huckler, present.
Abbey Yeatts, present. Kirsten Zolfo, present.
I'm your supervisor liaison. I'm present as well.
Good. Michelle is cannot attend tonight, so we have 3 out of the 5, so we do have a quorum. First order of business is, do I have a motion to approve the March 12th, 2025 meeting minutes?
I'll make that motion. Okay. I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm so used to raising my hand like on Zoom, so we can just say aye. Just an update for open positions. We had member Cynthia Lang. She did resign, so we now have 1 open position, 1 member, and then still 1 alternate needed. But I just wanted to, thank Cynthia for her time on the board. We appreciate all her help. She was great in attending some of our 5K anyway run, a big help there, and Community Day a couple years ago. So thank her for all her input and all her hard work on the board. We will miss you. So if anyone would like to become a member, you can send your resume into the township building. You can bring it in, or you could send it to admin@lmt.org. And next, do we have any public comment? Okay. No public comment. Next item I just wanted to bring up was the township manager has just informed all the committees that, we need to be in compliance with the Sunshine Act. So it's not something we really need to go over in detail, but if you're on one of the boards and you're chair, you just want to make sure that things like you're posting the agenda, so sending the agenda ahead of time to the township manager, and they do post that on the website, and then a resident can look out on the website and see what we will be discussing, and if they would like to attend and make public comment, then at least they're aware of what our agenda is for the evening. And it just goes over, what you're required to do, posting requirements, how to conduct public comment and questions during public comment. So it's just a reminder, meeting minutes, recording the meeting minutes. So just know that we do have to be in compliance with the Sunshine Act. And any questions, we can reach out to the township manager, David Kratzer. Okay. Next item we have is we want to update our brochure. And so we all have the brochure is out on our website and it is outdated. So Kirsten has graciously offered to redo it for us and has sent it to all of us for review. So I think what we'd like to do is maybe just go over what we'd like to see in it. I think I only have one side of it. There were a bunch of grammatical things we wanted to change, right? And some things we wanted to add that we've done. Thank you. Okay. And then we did have one whole section that we can fill in.
So
all right.
We did talk about putting a QR code on there. I didn't want to produce it until I knew where we wanted it to point to first. So that'll be one of the last things we do. Do you mind if I take you through on the second page some of the wording changes that I thought would be particularly easy to address? So in the section that it says overview, there are 2 sections in 2 bits in red just because we repeated the same word educate within the same sentence. And my suggestion was for the second one, we could change educate to inform.
Now that is
Oh, that is your.
That is the mission statement.
Okay.
So I think even though I agree with you that I think we should keep that the same because it is out on the website. It's in the official documents
Okay.
as our mission. So we'll keep that for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Under who we are, I thought it might make sense to change the word disabled because much like we don't say slave anymore, we say enslaved people. It made sense to me to say involvement with people with disabilities or involvement with disabled people, however we wanted to put it, but just wanted.
I think
Mhm.
that we should use probably I think we're using persons with disabilities rather than the disabled. So if you just want to continue with our mission statement, which we did update a few years back, because it did say disabled
You got it.
persons. So
Just put that in black now, so we don't have to have red anymore. Okay, and then under our future goals.
just
yeah,
go back to overview. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alternates, just a typo.
Oh, yeah, where are we talking?
Second line in overview, 5 members, 2 alternates. It's just a D instead of an S.
I'm not looking at the same spot you are. Where am I? Oh, you know what? We have overview twice. We need to come up with a different header
Oh.
for that. And I just noticed. That's why,
I didn't even take notice to that.
Yeah.
We could put overview as the mission statement.
yes, let's do the top one as mission.
Yeah, I
statement.
think
Yeah,
top one
you
should be
got
mission
it.
statement.
That. You know what? It probably did say that in the original because I just cut and pasted the title so that I use the same font and I just didn't update it, I bet. Okay, our future goals. The note that I put in here was instead of because all of the bullet points start with a verb except for the second one, my suggestion was to change it from ongoing monitoring of all to just monitor all.
That's fine. Yes.
Okay.
Monitor. So it's monitoring,
Monitor
Just as-
all building.
monitor
plans.
all. Okay. Monitor building plans.
Okay, under what we have done, I had a whole, sorry, I need to remove my comments now. That. I will worry about removing my comments after. Okay, what we have done. There's a whole big mix of verbs and tenses and stuff that made my little OCD heart flutter in anger. Not anger, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So my first thought, so completed worked, and then the next one I thought could be placed. So placed handicap parking signs throughout the township.
Because it's already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of these are going to be things we
Yep.
already done, so it should be verbs
Installed.
in the past tense.
So installed. Yeah.
Yep, you got,
Okay.
although actually I have to admit, I thought because we have 2 installed, thought maybe
Okay.
situated, or I was trying to find a good synonym for installed and was struggling even with an
Yeah.
online thesaurus, but we can always leave it installed in 2 places since is what it is. The next one I had down worked with construction and renovation plan. Oh no, reviewed is fine. It was just reviewed construction and renovation plans. Moving it to past tense. And then it was, right, worked closely was fine. That's past tense. Assisted is fine too. Excuse me for a sec while I move an image around. Okay, volunteered needs to be moved to past tense.
There's another.
Okay, where are we looking? Oh, suck. Yeah, we can fix that.
I
Yeah.
think the only thing with that one is that we still do.
I know, it's almost like what
at
we
that
have
point.
done and what we continue to do. So it's almost, that's like a future goal is to continue to volunteer at community events. So
Do you want that removed then from what we've done?
maybe it belongs under future goals, increase community networking at local events and continue to volunteer at,
Or continue to engage the community at events such as,
yeah. Continue to engage community.
So.
and that's 4 lines you can take out of that section, which would allow you to air out that whole panel.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so you want to remove the volunteered at community events from past 10, from the,
What we have done, because
Yeah.
it's something it's a future goal to continue to,
And then this, add it to that,
Yep.
increase.
got it. Get over it. Okay, give me 1 sec to fix something else, and then how do you want it to appear? Because we have, for that one, we have increase, monitor, continue, and then this last one right now says volunteered at community events, so we want to change it to,
I think they were
Engage.
saying about making it part of the first one because it is engaging
yeah,
with
it's
the community.
local events. Yeah.
gotcha, okay.
So increase community networking at local events and
Such as?
continue to engage community or,
Yeah.
uh,
And continue to.
at community, by volunteering at community events such
Wait,
as,
Let's start that over again. So increase community networking at local events and continue.
Or,
Yeah.
maybe you just,
or you want it separate.
or I'm just saying, rather than increase, it would be
Yeah.
engage community
Mm-hmm.
through networking at local events such as.
Okay, hold on.
Engage community.
Engage community
Through networking
through.
at local events such as.
Gotcha, such as
Then-
the 5K anyway, color
Mhm.
fund run for accessibility. Do we want to leave in that clause about to raise funds for future projects?
I think, personally, I think that for accessibility kind of tells you what it's
Yeah.
for, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion, so.
Well, I mean,
Fewer
that's almost
words
like
is
a
better.
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like a separate goal is for us to help raise funds for future accessibility projects in the township.
There you go. So, for future accessibility.
Because it doesn't mean it has to be an event. It could be grant writing or,
projects
you know,
in our
yeah.
community.
So I think that's something we've discussed a lot. The future goals. Okay. Yeah. So that is a future goal then.
That works. Okay, so that was everything that I had on the list
Okay.
for the second page. I'm just fiddling right now with some placement stuff. Now, I saw the 2 images that you had shared. I definitely have them.
Okay.
I have to figure out how they're gonna fit because they're
Mhm.
oblong and we have a lot of
Okay.
narrower spaces. We can make that.
Might
work.
be one oblong here. Yeah.
How
then-
would you feel about us potentially using like a landscaped image of the, let's forget, is it secret garden or hidden garden?
Secret.
Secret garden,
Yeah.
okay. Take a picture of the secret garden and maybe use that where I have the 3
Yeah.
squares on the front page.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can figure out how I can fit in those 2 images you sent into the 2 spots on the page 2
Right.
in the gray and the blue, fill
Okay.
those in.
I was
So-
gonna say, like, if we're thinking about putting in the little spot on the front, like things that we've accomplished, could always do like the open door of the library or the blinking lights in the road.
Yeah. I think a good one would be the picture of the 5 Mile Woods.
Yeah.
That the pathway that was created, and there is a picture of a gentleman in a wheelchair using that path. Parks and Rec has that on their Facebook page, I think. That's what I was saying. Maybe we can grab it from I have to find it on the Facebook page and maybe we
Okay.
can copy that.
Yeah, if you
But
would.
to me, that's something,
Always link it to me and then I
Okay.
can go grab it.
Yep.
Um,
Okay.
What, you know what I'm asking, what the font size is and the font type chosen?
this is, most of the text is in Open Sans 11.
Okay,
The header text is Glacial Indifference in, what size is this? Must have it in oh, I had to make, right, Disability Advisory Board like one bit smaller. It's like 29 and, yeah, it's mostly 29.
okay. The only thing I'm thinking is 11 point is really, might be challenging to read, and I'm wondering if we can bump the point size up, we have that whole extra block, right? So either we do some more copy diet, right, and we cut some content to see if we can get some lines that will allow us to bump the font size up.
So the information on the Help Us Help You wouldn't fit with that graphic
So-
on the top.
I will say that the police department stuff might change
Yeah.
in new business.
Okay,
So
let's hold off.
Yeah, okay, so I think we've got a good start. Let's just go from there. And I think we do have a lot of information in tonight's meeting that we are going to probably want to update. So we'll finish the meeting and then we can work on this again. Yeah.
Yeah.
like in the next, over our time away from here. Okay, but excellent,
Yeah.
progress. So it's gonna be very informative, I think, once we complete it. So
The
let's,
thing is, one last tidbit,
Mhm.
all of the places that I put promo image spots, we don't need it. Like,
Right.
I always believe in less cluttered, so like, I would be totally happy if we just took all the images off there and had that be a nice
Yeah.
clean tuck.
we might have to, with all the information we
Yeah,
want to get in
Okay.
there. Okay,
awesome,
all
thank
right,
you.
great, thank you. Okay, so we'll be working on the brochure off, in the next month, so. Next, we just wanted to discuss the events that we attended since our last meeting in March. And there were two great events that Abby and I attended, the Disability Fair, and that was put on by, I think it was Steve Sanaciro and Representative Tim Brennan. And so we attended that, and that was up at the New Hope Soulbury High School. And I will say that it was very good,
informative.
very informative. And I'm going to reach out, I think, to Steve just to, maybe we can do one down here because it did have a lot of things in Doylestown.
Mhm.
And a lot of our
Yes,
residents,
a lot of the like social groups and different things
Mhm.
like that were Doylestown based.
yeah. But I mean, this is the packet of information that I walked away with. And it's, for anything from senior things to rehabbing your
kids.
home, grants that are out there, which I didn't realize. Habitat for Humanity will come in and just retrofit something in your home. I always thought they just built new homes, but they actually will, help someone in need that way. They had,
Medicaid was there.
yep, the library, they had Braille
Yes.
books
Bookshare,
and
yes.
Bookshare. We didn't know that was occurring. The medical assistance transportation, so the Bucks County Transfer was there. And what else? Just information that I didn't know existed. And so for someone that does have a challenge, it was just such a great event and just talking with everybody there. So I would highly recommend that we, follow up and maybe have an event, even if it was held here.
Right, or
Right?
or
In
community
the community center.
Yeah.
So, I'll try to reach out, and Perry Warren is down here, whereas Tim, I guess Brennan is up in that.
He lives in Doylestown, yeah.
Doylestown, yeah. So I just think we need to follow up on that. And
That's a
then
great
if
idea.
Abby got some invaluable information, I think, for your daughter, right, for your children. And,
Very much so.
and you've been, probably, you didn't know that existed,
I
for.
didn't. And I do a lot of research.
Right, she did research, and we didn't know, we just had to go for a walk around the high school, and you got some really good information. So, well worth it. And we'll follow up on that. Maybe we can do something in the fall.
Yeah.
Or next spring. It doesn't, as long as we follow up. The next event was the ribbon cutting at Memorial Park, the Secret Garden, the new surface, SoFi, I think it was called. They sponsored it. They had a taco truck. Everybody got free tacos.
They did a safety demonstration.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they dropped a small baby from 6 feet and it bounced.
It bounced.
Kidding for those watching online.
It did show that surface is very forgiving. So if you do have a child that falls,
It takes a good bit of
the
impact.
impact is taken away. It's like almost wearing a helmet, it's absorbing that impact. So it was well attended. The kids were having a blast.
It coincided with the Easter egg hunt, which I know the kids were also
Okay.
thrilled about.
Yeah. And then they did do a grand opening of the basketball courts. And we were there because they had made an accessible pathway from the parking lot, which they did fully stripe with van accessible parking, and it leads right down to the basketball courts. So it was, we should be very proud of our township for making the effort to make things accessible for all.
Love
Yeah. I forgot you were there.
Yeah.
Kirsten was there eating the tacos. All right. For upcoming events, we do have the 5K Anyway run, and that will be held by the Parks and Rec Department. They do sponsor this. It will be held Sunday, September 28th. And we always like to, if we can volunteer, we obviously try to go and, log people in and cheer everybody on and throw whatever chalk on them. So it's a great time, but I want to make sure everybody's aware of it and get that on your calendar, just so we have it. And then I always like to bring up the Center for Independent Living. They have so many events coming up, and I don't feel like they get the word out. I don't know how people find them. So, they have a newsletter. I'm sure people, you can go on to their website and, see what they have. But you can see it's just, it's just a full page of events. Save the dates for training, tell your story, why it matters, Voices of Pennsylvania. It's Employment Symposium and Job Fair is October 1st, 2025 at the Sheridan. Prevention Day and Wellness Fair. Oh, that's today. So we missed that. Spring Walk. I think they already held. They do Saturday, May 17th, Community Fair. It's a 5K fun run and 1 mile family walk. Like I said, they have a lot of information. And so we just want to keep plugging that to make sure people are aware that, that that it is in our community. It looks like they have a new employee, Grant Delia. He'll be a full-time community support coordinator at the Ben Salem office. And they do a peer support May 21st at 10 a.m., young adult virtual peer support. They have in-person peer support will return in June. So again, it's just, something people should use them as a resource. So again, just want to plug that they are there to help anyone out. All right. Next, we're going to move on to, we have a lot to talk about for the emergency management. And we have a new chief of police, Chief Kelly. So we did get to meet him at the Secret Garden. He was there. So Abbey arranged to have a meeting with him. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Abbey as far as her meeting with Chief Kelly.
Yeah, so I met with Police Chief Kelly, and it was mainly to talk about the emergency management form that was on the website. And prior, you had to print off the form, fill it out, and then take it in to the police department. And I spoke to him about how that was difficult for some people, to see if we could get it more online. And he said that the current system that they were using had not been used in 7-ish years. There hadn't been new inputs or anything, and so they wanted to update that. And on the 8th, they came out with a new system called the Handle with Care Registry, and it's right on the front page of the police website currently. And you just click the link, and it is a fully online form that you fill out for each person. So I did it last night. I did one for each of my kids. It was super easy. I submitted it and I got an email confirmation that it was submitted. And then again, this morning, I got another email saying that it had been reported to it had been logged and recorded. So I know that that is on there now.
What kind of information was on the form? Is it
Yeah,
similar to that?
Yes, it is
Okay.
very similar.
Okay.
Address, the person that's filling out the form, or like the guardian or caregiver, the name of the person that has a disability or a special consideration. And then they just have like an area to write things like where the person typically spends their time, which is important to.
Location in the
Correct.
house they
Yes,
might be.
so you want,
Mhm.
like, I put both where my children's bedrooms are in case there was a fire. I put that, they're not in the house during the day when they're at school, so they don't have to worry about finding them if there was a fire during the day. You can give things like garage codes or where a hidden key is if there's a medical emergency. And then I listed the different like medical conditions, and they asked for things that are triggers, things that help calm a person down. So things like that. And then one of the other things I asked about in my meeting was training, and they said that almost 100% of the current police officers for our township have special training. And they have now taken the pledge on the One Mind campaign that means that they're going to continue to certify and train 100% of their officers in mental health awareness for crisis intervention training and things of that nature. So I feel like it ended up being a very successful meeting, and
Yeah. That's a
all the
lot of
things that we
information.
were concerned about were taken care of,
Yeah.
and it was great.
They put it online right away.
Yeah.
Question for you, and you might not have asked Chief Kelly this. Many people don't want to fill out forms because of privacy issues. We have many people even resistant to fill out a handwritten form and bring it to the police department. Do you know, like, who has access to that information?
From what I understand, it's sent to the 911 center in Bucks County, because there is only one 911 center in Bucks County. So that it is attached with your address, should you call from that address. And they can pull up that information and give it right to first responders, whether that be EMTs, police, or fire department. And then we were speaking about whether the police would have access to it in general, and I'm not sure that was decided, because we were saying, like, my daughter can elope, and if you were to find her on the side of the street, she wouldn't be able to tell you our phone number or our address, but she can tell you her name and our name. So if she was able to be like looked up by a police officer just by her name, you could get our information and things like that. So I'm not sure if that was completely decided upon, but I do know that it goes to the
Okay, so
call
it does
center.
go to the call center. And what's the difference on that? So going back to our brochure here, we have, sign up for Smart 911. Is
So I
that,
think that's emergency alert for the township, like shelter in place or things of that nature.
okay, so
Ready
that's
Bucks
more of
is what that is.
Oh,
it's different though than Ready Bucks.
Yeah.
So I'm signed up on Ready Bucks, haven't received anything.
Lately, yeah.
Yeah. In
then
6 months.
I am not sure.
So maybe we should find out what is if we're going to have both on here,
Right.
like, do they need to do both? Do they need to do one? Who would do this one? Who would do that one? So Smart 911, I did know this at one point, and now I don't.
It's the bottom portion on the outside page.
Yeah, no, I have it here, but it's download the app on your mobile device to alert first responders of important information to help with you when you call
I'm
911.
wondering if it's more widespread. So like this is
Which
just for
is-
Bucks as opposed to I wonder if this travels with you if you
Okay.
travel.
So we'll
Or if it's
find that
connected
out
to your
maybe.
phone number.
So smart, is that smart one?
911
Yeah.
app.
And
I
it's,
think it's an app, so I think it probably is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I know our previous member did sign up for that. Maybe it gives him alerts, maybe it gives you alerts on the apps. So maybe we'll find out a little more detail of what the difference is, like I said, before we put that on our brochure, so people would know
Yeah.
do both or,
I'm gonna highlight the paragraph
Yeah.
that says provide the police department with important premise information.
Mhm.
Because that's what will end up being changed.
that's changing.
Yeah, it'll be the can handle with care registry. Which
Yep,
I can
yeah.
give you this. This was printed right off their website.
Okay. Okay, so that'll change and then we'll find out about the other. Okay. Okay, great. And so the next, just wanted to bring up, we have the Blue Envelope Program. Again, it's the police department aiding and helping autistic drivers. So I know other communities had implemented this, and just recently, I think in the last couple weeks, Lower Makefield Township has started to have these available. So I did go into the police department today, and they have these right outside their window, in the police station. And anyone that has a driver in the household who might have some issues with, just responding to questions or how they might react if they were pulled over, they could take this envelope, and it has, you complete information. You will hand this to the police officer, and then it helps them, to communicate properly, in any, sensitive way, or, a way that maybe the person would be able to respond, be more receptive to being helped and understand, why they're being pulled over. So I think this is an easy way. It's great. You just, again, have to come in and pick it up.
From what I understand, it helps also to keep all those documents that you need when they're listing things off to you. Can you have such and such and such and such? You
Right.
just put them all in that envelope.
Right. Your driver's license, vehicle registration, they can hand this entire envelope with everything
Yeah.
already in it. So they don't have to
And I think it's
searching for it.
even a photo, like I was reading last night, I think it's a photocopy of your license.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell the driver when, when to stop, why they, when they can leave, when they leave. If the driver becomes upset, consider contacting the person listed on the contact card. So
Yeah.
it'll have like a number to call, for help in case you need it from their guardian or loved one.
Yeah, it is very exciting. I think for officers, there are certain situations where people present in a way that you're not quite sure what's going on. And tools like this help them better respond to folks. And I could say that I'm very excited about it. I know another supervisor was pleased because she had mentioned it, and then boom, it was the next day.
Yeah.
So,
It's such a simple solution, but
I was gonna say
yeah.
they're doing wonderful things.
yeah.
yeah, one other thing that the police are doing associated with these couple changes is increasing the use of the co-responders that the county provides and changing the process internally about escalation so that we get co-responders in faster, earlier in circumstances.
And co-responders are somebody maybe with a mental health background
Mhm.
rather than
They're
a
specifically
police
trained
officer.
to
Yeah,
help with mental illness or, yes, yeah, among other,
yeah.
yeah, all those other elements as well. So there are professionals that are trained specifically in that.
All right. All good for, helping people in emergencies, All right. Anything else for emergencies? I feel like I had anything else? That's all right. Next, it was just the Parks and Rec department that there's really no updates that we have on a lot of the projects. They're very busy with pool and summer programming.
Yes.
So there's really no updates on a lot of things. But the one thing that Monica wanted me to bring up was that Parks and Rec was working with a resident who has,
She's actually not a resident.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or,
They-
so
they
we're,
do
oh,
come
okay.
swim here,
So they
but
come
they're
swim,
not-
okay,
yeah,
they're not a resident.
they're
So not an
from the
LMT,
area.
but working with a pool, so a pool member.
Yes.
Basically, it's a pool
Yeah,
member.
I
Just so
met
can-
with her and Monica 2 Fridays ago.
So this is just to explain, so found a way to teach lessons to special needs swimmers at the LMT pool. And they're in very early stages of discussion, and they might offer like a small pilot program this year and then continue to grow it from there. Obviously, they would have to train the staff
That's
specifically.
What we're currently talking
Okay,
about, like
okay.
trying to find a program that's appropriate. And I was emailing with the new pool manager as well.
Mhm.
And we did find like a program. But they have to, do their research on their end, price and what it covers and things like that. So I actually sent out an email today to see if there was an update, but I haven't heard back.
And this would be run similar to the swim lessons, so people. would
So that's
pay?
also not, it depends on the training because they don't know if they're gonna need to contract like a group that has the proper training or if training the staff is the idea, because they were saying they don't want to invest in training staff with the high turnover
Mhm,
because
right.
of it being mostly college students. So there's
So
a lot
maybe
of moving
bringing-
parts still.
So maybe bringing somebody in, or
Yeah,
it would be
just not
easier.
sure at this
Yeah.
point. I know
Okay.
that there's a lot of things that are up in the
But
air.
it would be
and
something
question
like
marks.
I'm saying, where you would sign up and you would pay, just like you pay for.
There will
swimming.
be no pay.
Oh, okay.
Because the grant will
charge.
fund it.
Okay. So, and the
From
grant,
what I understood, yes, that there would be no charge.
okay.
Hmm.
And this grant, did somebody apply for it?
It,
Or-
no, I think it's through the Kelseys or something. I'm not completely
Okay,
sure. I don't
okay.
know that it's like a grant as more of
Yeah.
a foundation donating money.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right, great. So that goes all part of the ADA transition
Yes.
plan of programs that would be available for children that had special needs or, yeah. Okay. All right. Fantastic. All right, next is the building plan reviews. So I did forward, Kirsten, to you the email from Jim Majewski. I don't know if you looked at it. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's okay. It just, yeah, it had, all that is going on is Prickett. So a lot of the stores are coming online and they're submitting specific plans for like the Verizon store. What else was there? There was Verizon. Chipotle is coming in. I didn't know they were coming in. So what? Can't remember. Some of the, I have all this paper here and I can never find anything. It's probably in this big stack. So some new stores, but I decided to drive over there and take a look because Jim said that they were completing some of the work over by the far entrance, which would be Chase, where the Chase Bank is. So I drive up there and they had already striped the parking lot. And how do I describe it? You have the building and then there's no parking right in front of the building, but right across the parking lot, there's a line of parking spots, right? So in front of every store, there'd be a line of parking spots. There's no handicap parking there. Then there's like a grassy area, and there's, a curb. So they've put the handicap parking over on the other side of the grassy area. So there's cars, grassy area, and then 2 handicap van accessible spots here, and the stores are over here. So there's no way for a person getting out of the van. They would have to go around and down and around, like far. So number one, it's supposed to be closest to the entrance. So if anything, it would have to be in the first line of parking spots, on this side of the grassy knoll. And yeah.
In between, yeah, like
curb cut in front of the stores?
That I don't think it was, I don't recall. Yeah,
Okay, because typically also that they're like kind of close and lined up to the
Yeah,
curb cuts.
yeah. I can't remember if I saw them. I would think I was just stunned.
I was gonna say, I have so many things to say about this and none of them are appropriate for a meeting like this.
So I did take a picture. I can send it to everyone, but I took a picture and sent it to Jim Majewski, and he's like, what? So obviously he's going to go over there and check it out.
So I know that, the LaGrange French Bistro
that's-
opened.
Right.
There are areas that are still very rough around there where there's like mud and stuff that's
Yeah.
not finalized.
No, this was
This
was finalized.
pre-painted, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's hopefully resolvable.
Yeah,
for
it's, they
inspection.
just have to move it,
Yeah,
to the other side, basically. And what you're saying, like where the curb cut will be. So
Right.
it should be across from the curb cut. So it was just interesting. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like you have to kind of go over there all the time and check things out.
Stripe crosswalks too, usually, if it's from the handicap spot.
That's
Well-
what they just did over at Oxford Oaks. They revitalized that whole center
Yeah.
thing in front of Starbucks to make it curb cut and accessible to go across
Yeah.
Mhm.
from the
Yeah.
handicap
Yeah.
parking.
So, yeah. So he's going to look into that, but I think we'll just have to go over once in a while as they're completing sections to, I'm trying to catch it before they
Yeah.
stripe, but you wouldn't have known that they would
Right.
put it the furthest away from the entrance to the stores. It's in the middle of nowhere. Like nobody would really in a handy park there. There'd be no reason to park there. And I couldn't tell, you're right, it's still it's not done in the back area. There might be entrances there, but I didn't see any, I didn't see any curb cuts
Yeah.
there either. So anyway, I did forward that to the township. What's Jim's, title?
Director of Community Development.
Okay, to, Jim Majewski, Director of Community Development, and he will look into that. Just like he did, a couple months ago when they put the bollards in front of the handicap accessible, when people park. So they already moved those.
Was there
That's Trinity Health.
Trinity.
Yeah,
Okay.
nothing yet. They're still working on
Okay.
it. I saw, I didn't ask, Jim if they were restriping anytime soon, but the curb cuts and where the handicap parking is now is aligned.
Right.
So I think Jim McCaffrey has to do something with that parking lot anyway. There's cones, big holes.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't believe maybe he owns that building. I'm not sure of the
Ye-
specific.
yeah, he owns the parking lot, so.
Oh, okay, if he has,
but the
yeah.
parking lot.
Because
yeah.
the other half of that is owned by a Chicago-based real estate investment
Yeah.
trust.
And they've been helpful.
Yeah.
I've been in contact with them with the giant, but you can see where it stops
Mhm.
right behind, the Chinese place there. So we'll continue to, follow up on the Prickett plan. And I did ask Jim about, they did put, what is it, like a pathway from up top where the Grange is down to the bike path. And there were steps. And when I asked Jim about that, he said he doesn't recall there being steps like on the plan. But as long as there's another way to get down or, who would be using it, we can take a look at it. But, you can't really tell sometimes with plans. It had a pathway, but it really didn't have like
grading? You can't tell the
grading.
grading
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
So, but LaGrange has a set of stairs as you enter, and then they have a ramp area that's
Yeah.
around the stairs that leads you to both the entrance, but also the deck area. of
Okay.
it. Yeah,
Okay, so that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do have a handicap parking right
yes.
side. I did
Mhm.
see that today. So, okay. So again, we'll just have to keep, doing drive-bys. You go over there for Wegmans, so you should do your drive-bys and check things out. All right. Next, do we have any new business?
I did grant research and found the American Academy of Dermatology sponsors a shade structure grant. And they award up to $8,000 for shade structures for playgrounds and things like that.
Mhm.
So,
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
So.
And where are they located? Like, is that
it's
for
just the-
Pennsylvania or
no, it's
just,
the dermatology.
okay.
association. There's a couple things that we'd have to do. I don't know that it would work for this year.
Mhm.
Although the application opens for the 2026 grant cycle in October, we would need, a letter of recommendation from a member dermatologist, which I'm sure we can find easily in our township. And then they want you to have demonstrated an ongoing commitment to sun safety for at least a year prior to application. So that just, they want, awareness of skin cancer, sun safety, things like that. Which, I don't know, maybe we could use in conjunction with the pool or summer camp, like remember to sunblock, it's important, things like that. They have resources on their website that they say that, is great if you use, so they encourage you to use their resources for
Mhm.
free. And other than that, you just, they need, if you win the grant, you have to submit a W-9 for the organization and a vendor invoice, but I feel like that's all.
Mhm.
And it's not a grant that has to be a matching grant, right? It would just be,
No, it
it's
just
just a
says
straight
that
out.
8,000 will cover most shade sales of 10 by 10. However, if it requires additional, that you have to have that funding.
Right.
So a question, how are our relationships with other boards or groups within the township? Like if we said to Parks and Rec, hey, can we get a couple of notices about making sure people are.
Yeah.
that-
Oh, yeah.
It's really easy to pull off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
They'll work with us. Yeah, totally.
Cause it
So-
seems to me that well in advance of being able to do that, sorry for pointing at you. If we just told the folks over who manage the website, like,
Yeah.
hey, can we throw this on in a couple places? Then starting tomorrow, that ticking clock
I
of
was
having been
thinking
doing
like
it for a
it would be
year.
perfect for summer, like
Yeah.
all the
Mhm.
things, especially since we have a pool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I thought this
Okay,
would be
yeah,
great.
so if we
That's
can,
awesome.
you can send me the link on that or, okay. Yep, so we can look at that and see where we can get it. I mean, even the 5K anywhere, like just, I don't know if we could have a dermatologist get involved and give us samples of suntan lotion or,
Yeah.
small little travel things for the summer camp kids.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's a number of dermatologists in Floral Vale.
Oh,
you
yeah,
Yeah.
Huge practice.
right.
Oh my gosh, yes. And
I'm sure there's others.
Oh, yeah.
and I believe I'm one of their top customers.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, they're carving and freezing stuff all the time.
Yeah, they might want to get involved, like we could put together something to hand out to them and say, how would you like to be involved with,
Yeah.
just promoting? We're not asking them for money, really.
Right.
Not that they couldn't match a grant, but help us promote sunscreen safety.
Yeah.
Maybe they, have their drug reps coming in with free samples, we can take them.
So that was the big one.
Okay.
There were some other ones. I mean, I'm still researching. There's
Yeah.
tons of databases. The other one that I found was Hydro Flask has a Parks for All grant, and one of their things is equitable access, but their application isn't going to be uploaded with any information until this summer. So I will be checking back to
Okay.
see if that would be an option for
Yeah.
maybe even like in the future with the updates that I know are gonna need to be made to, Kids Castle.
Right, right.
What
Kids
is
Castle,
Hydra Flask?
a water bottle company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense based on the name. Wasn't getting there, sorry.
Yeah, I think it was the one that was in about 2 years ago. Water bottles go very quickly with the
Yeah.
children.
Gotcha.
Right. All right, great.
So I will continue to do. more
So that definitely is our future goal of
the-
getting grants to add to our brochure too. So we can add, item about the grants, and we can add item about the blue envelope. Maybe that would be something else, have a section that has all of the, either the smart 911, the blue envelope, and then the handle with care.
Keep in mind, I did just update everything to be 12 points, so it is, there's a little less room.
Yes.
We still have that big
Yes.
panel with the QR code and space for more,
Okay.
but there's not a lot of,
Yeah,
extra.
I don't think we need too many more words, like,
Yeah.
And the
of what we're
police
doing.
department wants to be pared down.
yeah,
And Maybe we can merge the handle of care and the police.
right. Yep. Okay. That's great. The next old business, I just wanted to make sure that we stay on top or stay in the loop for the marketing plan revisions. I remember Monica saying that it was taken away from the Parks and Rec Department and was coming to the township manager's responsibility. But we just want to make sure, our goal would be to ensure individuals with disabilities are aware of and educated about the available services. So it's, I think their marketing plan was just better outreach and education. So,
I was gonna say in the spring newsletter, they did have the
Yeah.
inclusive. activities, so
Right.
that was
Mhm.
great.
yep. Okay. So maybe that should be something we
Maybe they
do
can-
annually.
I was gonna say maybe in the next newsletter, the police can have like a little spot about the blue envelope and handle with care program.
Mhm.
I'll
Uh,
bring that to Monica because they start working on that. I think the summer one just went out today or yesterday. I
Yeah,
think it's just,
Okay.
so something maybe for the fall
Yeah.
newsletter.
yeah, I was gonna say today we had, coffee with a cop.
Oh, yeah.
And it was at the Wegmans grocery store and, it was well attended. We also are starting to improve our social presence. It's not just for the police, but also for the township. So, that's something definitely we can do videos, and get those out there
Mhm.
for folks. And maybe, the person to talk to would be Kelly Frame. I don't know if you've met Kelly.
No, I haven't. That's who Monica said was taking over the
Yeah,
whole
so-
marketing. Yeah.
Yep. And she was doing interviews today from there and actually talking about that would be great to have, either you or the chief or both talk about that, would be helpful.
Okay. Yeah, we have to meet her because I know Monica said she was taking that over, but maybe she doesn't realize, as all the information we have that needs to get out there.
One of the challenges collectively we have in the township is, how do we get the right audiences and give them the right message of the services that we offer or the issues that we have for them? And there are other communities that we can model off of. Middletown does some stuff with how they inform people about through email. We have the stuff that's been doing on the pool side. We've captured a lot of folks. We probably have a very high penetration of the folks or households in Lower Makefield that we can communicate through other channels, not just the newsletter, which is helpful,
Yeah.
but also on a recurring basis. So the hard part becomes, we have so much to talk about. Who do we tell what, when, and how? And we need to think through that strategy collectively for all the things we have to talk about. Because, if we were just talking parks, there's so much to talk about just in Parks and Rec or just police or just some of the other elements of community development. So I think collectively township's going to have to work on that. It's going to probably take us a little time to get
Yeah.
that, but to have good processes and cadences and tracking for how well we're doing and how well people are engaged with our messages.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You're right. There's so much, too many places to go to, but I know a lot of people get it from Facebook, but not everybody's on Facebook. You're not reaching
Right.
everyone that you need to reach.
But even within, that's a proprietary channel that
Mhm.
is algorithmically accelerates the wrong content in most
Yeah.
cases. And so we need to find ways that are non-proprietary channels to talk to people and have a recurring. That's why the newsletter is helpful because people who don't use computers can now get those and those elements as well. But yes, that's something the township and Kelly and all of the staff will be working on.
I
over time.
think I remember signing up at one point to receive information from
Mhm.
township, but I don't think I get anything. Wasn't it by
No,
email?
I get Parks and Rec stuff, but
I get
don't
that on
know how.
Facebook.
I get the emails from
Oh.
Parks and Rec. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I get some, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you're right, maybe one township
yeah.
email. So then, but then you select what things you are interested in,
Yeah.
kind of like the Bucks Ready. Like you can click off how much you want. Yeah,
Right. Middletown has a recurring email that they send to everyone in the community. I signed up for it, not because I'm a fan of Middletown, because it,
you're
Yeah.
stalking them.
no, I'm still not over this whole Neshaminy Pensbury thing.
Yeah.
No, kid, it's a lovely
Yeah.
community. But they've done pretty good work in that area, in
Yeah.
that communication. And so I've gotten the last couple of years of those and I've stored them
Yeah.
because, so we'll have
It's-
those as a
it-
blueprint.
You don't want to start from scratch. If somebody
Yeah.
else is already doing a good job, let's model after them.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's our biggest problem too, is trying to
Reaching people.
communicate out to people. Like we're doing our brochure, but if we don't have community events to pass these out to, community day or
Right.
whatever. I mean, we do put them in the community center and here, outside. And we do put it on the website, but you're right, like where else, how can we get this out, to the general public? And so if we did have email, we could email the brochure.
Well, or
Actually-
strip the content out and put it in an email, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yes,
I
we
was
could
gonna say,
definitely do
could
that.
we put something at the library?
Yeah, sir, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So that when people are,
Especially in the summer, well, I mean, there's a lot of families and things
Yep.
going once Summer Quest
Yeah.
happens, you'll get more.
Right.
I don't know, but
Okay.
I know every time I go to the library, there's people and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Could we leave our content like at the supermarkets that have the community bulletin boards or anything like that, or not so much?
If we have events, but I wouldn't just put our brochure necessarily on there.
Newsletters,
Yeah,
Putting the newsletter up.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, all right. That's all that we have. I guess, the next meeting, so we're gonna work on that brochure as we, from home. I think at this point, we have enough information. We just need to, update some things that we discussed tonight.
We're scheduled on a
for the
holiday.
11th. Oh, what?
Aren't we scheduled for Juneteenth?
No,
Okay.
June 11th.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me change that.
Well, let's try to meet in June.
What?
And then, because July, we normally don't meet. I may have a conflict in August, so definitely September, we'll meet. But we'll discuss the August, at our next meeting. I'll know for sure if I'm away. And, so, okay, with that, so our next meeting would be June 11th.
I'll
Wednes-
be virtual if that matters.
Okay.
but-
That's fine. You're gonna put me in charge of this?
Sorry, I can do it from Boston.
We'll try to make that a short meeting. Maybe we'll just approve,
I mean,
the brochure.
time is not the problem, it's
Okay.
distance.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And then, all right,
I can help with tech support. if you
Okay.
need.
You say we tend to skip the Julys, am I
yeah,
parting? Okay.
yeah. Great. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Sure, I'll move. to
Okay.
adjourn.
Kirsten, and a second?
Second.
Abby? And all in favor? Aye. All right. Bye, everyone.
Um,
All right.
Can I take a picture of the blue envelope?
Mhm.